What's up, y'all? Welcome to another edition of Meechy Man, The Adventures of Meechy Man. It's been a couple weeks since I've released a video. I've been trying to think of something new and fresh to kind of like tell you guys about my adventures in California, which I'm still here for another week, and then it's back to Phoenix to the real world. But anyway, I don't know if you guys ever thought about it, like when you take a vacation, you have the opportunity to actually take a vacation, step away from your life, and just kind of look at everything in kind of a third person point of view. Take a look at the world and how it works, how all the different parts work together, and reflect, I guess you can say, because with reflection comes growth. You don't have a choice till you start to reflect and look at things differently, think about things differently. Give you a prime example. Like most of the world been keeping up with the pandemic situation that has engulfed us globally. Looking at the effect it's having, not just on the victims but their families and us as a society. And for everybody who has lost someone because of the pandemic, my thoughts go out to you. And for the people that actually are being treated or have been treated and come out on the other side, thank you. It gives everybody hope that if you do contract this virus, that it can be beat. But on the other side, it makes you look at how this pandemic has affected the way people react in society towards one another. To give you an example, I was watching, I don't know if you had a chance to see it or not, but a gentleman in Arizona was in a Sprouts or some farmer's market, and he started to just lose it because they were trying to make him put his mask on, for obvious reasons. And which you can see, arguments on both sides. Why can't you just wear the damn mask for 5 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever, do you shopping? As soon as you walk out the door, you can take it off. Don't have to put it back on again if you don't want to. But but you can also see why he got upset. It's like, I'm a grown man. I'm being treated like a little child. I pay my mortgage, pay my taxes. I've raised my kids. I've been a good father to them, a good role model. I work hard to bring in money, and I'm a good husband. All those good things. And I'm being treated like an 8-year-old. I'm a grown man. Don't treat me like that. Which you can completely understand his side of the point. He got so carried away he had to be picked up by his son and taken outside of the establishment. So yeah, it was a pretty disturbing scene. But yeah, it just makes you just look at events like this. Another one to talk about is race relations. Which the guy that resides at was it 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue has brought to the forefront again. He's like made us go back in time about 45 years to the 1960s, when all of this racial tension has been being broadcast live on TV, where people can actually see it and see that racism is alive and well, has never gone away. And the only thing that has gone away is exposure, up until recently with the technology and social media, where instead of like recent news being 2-3 days ago to being like 2-3 minutes ago, and I think it was Will Smith who said recently, somebody was asking him about is racism worse? He's like, no, racism isn't worse, it's just being recorded. Which is very, very deep thought. But my take on that, I think between the pandemic and this race situation that we're finally having to deal with, it's in our faces now. You can't just be like, oh, everything's fine now, you guys are getting rights. No, it's not right. I think I was reading several articles that said before the pandemic, that minorities were starting to get opportunities that they normally weren't getting, and then with this pandemic, it kind of like put it back, put the movement back like 2 or 3 steps. And, I kind of agree with that. I think things are getting better. Between the pandemic and the race relations, it's creating an awareness and consciousness that has been, has been sorely sought after for years. And, it's, boom, right in your face. You got to deal with it. You can't like hide behind this, hide behind that, because it's going to find you. You can, stay in whatever crowd you choose to run with and segregate yourself to, but eventually somebody of color is going to penetrate your circle and you're going to have to deal with it. That's the way it's always been, and it's going to continue to be that way. And, it's, so I'm happy, and I'm, what's the word I'm looking for? Hopeful that it continues and we all start to learn about each other's cultures, because this is a great country. What makes it a great country is the fact that everybody has contributed over the course of time to this country. It's not just the white people, but minorities have contributed, so many different ways that we haven't been recognized for. And I think that's what causes a lot of anger from minorities towards the masses. And we mean by what I mean by the masses. And it just it makes you approach people differently, think differently. At the same time, I think we're so caught up in politically correctness that you can't speak your mind anymore. Certain words you say are offensive, and it's just, that's not the answer either, because it's making people hold in more, and just not want to deal with certain ethnic groups, because of the fact that I open my mouth, I'm going to be nailed for saying this, for that, ethnic groups, different like sexual preferences, or whatever types of political views you have. It's going to segregate you because of the fact that you just don't want to. It's the day and age that if you open your mouth and say the wrong thing, you're persecuted. But it also, being out here is very peaceful, being by the ocean, which I've had the opportunity to go to the ocean several times since I've been here. And, just to people watch, that's one of my favorite things to do, because you can always look at people's body language. Because in my opinion, I think the English language, or speaking, I should say, not just the English language, any language, speaking is overrated. It has its point in time, always, that you got to open your mouth and get your point across. But I think in, equally amount of situations, you can communicate just through looking at somebody or your body language. You can understand. I'm a person that is real big on body language. I study people's body language, just like you can look at me and tell if I'm pissed off, if I'm having a good time. I'm on the quiet side because I just, once again, I don't feel like you need to talk all the damn time to just to kill silence. Silence is a good thing. People are intimidated by silence, and they're freaked out because they got to know what you're thinking at all times, instead of just looking at you and seeing how you're reacting to your environment and the situation. You can tell if people are uncomfortable. You can tell if they're just observing, and you can tell obviously if they're having fun. You don't need to open your mouth. You can just watch them. I think once we start to do that a little bit more, instead of relying on having to say words every time something pops in your head and somebody's looking at you like, what are you thinking? Or what are you doing? Well, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? So this is like things that I've been thinking about, reflection. Also reflecting on like the second half of my journey, so to speak, and like the direction that I want to go in, which is start to follow my dreams a lot more than I have been. In the first half of my life, I think I let society dictate what I thought, how I reacted, and it made me very unhappy because it wasn't the person that I want to be. and sometimes you got to start off at ground zero to effectively submit yourself in the direction that you want to go. And it's a painful thing sometimes when you have to start over, and it can be scary, and it's a big deterrent. But at the same time, once you do it, you feel better about yourself. Life, the trees are greener, painted benches are brighter. Everything is in such clarity because you're following the path that you were meant to follow when you decided to come forth into this journey. So, morning. That's about my 10 minutes. That's my piece. Thank you guys for tuning in. Peace.